the first question.
Hey, Coach. Obviously, Laviska is a guy that can be multifaceted. You guys had him in the backfield a couple of times. He was in at Wildcat, and then he goes and scores a touchdown on a reception. What did you think of his performance from Sunday, and where do you see him sort of evolving as the season moves on within your offense?
Well, I thought he played well. First game out, you're never sure how the rookies are going to be, especially with some of the things we're trying to do with them. But from a mental standpoint, he did everything right. He did a good job. From a physical standpoint, he's what we thought he was. He's a physical guy in the running game, had some good blocks, had to dig out some safeties in the running game, which nobody sees. But when he had the ball in his hands, you could see how explosive he can be. So, we have a good group of guys, good group of weapons, and it's our job to spread it around. But I was impressed with Laviska.
Thank you.
Thanks, Demetrius. Let's go over to Gary Smits and then to D-Rock.
Hey, Ted, I'll pass. Shippy just beat me to it.
Okay. Thank you. Let's go to D-Rock and then John Reed. Appreciate it, Gary.
Hey, Jay, can you give us a little bit of insight into what Gardner's like in the meeting rooms? I mean, is he always cracking jokes? Is he really studious, really quiet? Can you just kind of give us a sense of what he's like in there?
Yeah, I mean, there's time to have some fun. He's a fun guy to hang around with, funny guy, entertaining. But for the most part, when it's business, it's business. And he takes good notes. He studies the game. He spits out the plays in the huddle, which quarterbacks have to do. He's a student, and he knows he's got a long way to go from a mental standpoint. And he's just soaking up the knowledge. And it's exciting to work with him because, guys that are, aware of how necessary it is to prepare. And then the guys that do prepare, it's fun to watch them and develop. So we're just scratching the surface. We played one game. We got a whole new game plan for Tennessee. So new plays coming in. So he's got to study, he's got to work, and he's going to do that.
When he got here, or when you got here, did you have expectations about how he would be able to pick up the offense, how quickly? Did he exceed those? He's still a young guy, still hasn't even started 16 games.
Yeah, I didn't know. I knew he played for 14 colleges, so he had to learn different playbooks. So, I knew he could do that. He can handle that. And obviously, he came in last year as a rookie and played 10 games and won 6, I believe it was. So I understand that getting his feet wet in pro football and the speed of the game and what it takes to be a quarterback, he got a taste of it. And I know he wants a bigger bite of it now, and he's studying and he's working towards that. So being only his second year, what he's accomplished so far as a 6th-round pick, I think is very impressive, and he's going to keep working and keep getting better.
Thank you.
Thanks, D-Rock. Let's go over to John Reed and then to John Shipley.
How you doing, Coach? I mean, you look at Garner's stat line, and it looked like he was flawless and perfect. But what did you see as far as his intangibles, as far as like reading the coverages and also checking off and going with the second and third options? Did he all those kind of things near flawless, or how would you assess that?
Yeah, it's never flawless. He's 19 for 20, of course, and he had the drop. But I think there's some things we can clean up. I think in the pocket a little bit he might have escaped a little bit too soon on a couple plays that we had down the field shots. But for the most part, we're always going to find something. We're coaches. We're not very nice. We're going to find something to be critical about. That's just the way it is. We have to. We can't tell him he was perfect, and otherwise he'll get a big head. So we got to keep him calm and keep him on the right track. Just continue to learn, continue to study his footwork and his progressions and his eyes. And then obviously in the pocket when things break down, the decisions that he makes. The sack that he took there on 3rd down and 2 could have knocked us out of field goal range. There's some decisions there that we'd like to have back, but we're learning, and we're learning together. I'm learning more about him, what he is as a quarterback, as a person, what he likes, what he doesn't like, and that's going to be a process that's going to continue to take place. But as far as his first game with me and me getting to know him, I'm very impressed with the way he played.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
Thanks, John. Let's go over to Shipley and then to Mark Long.
Hey, Coach, since there was, no preseason, Sunday was really your first chance to see James Robinson in live action. What was really your assessment of how he played?
I thought he was great, man. I mean, the first drive of the game, we started out with 2 runs, really 3 runs in a row. We got the first down on our first 2 carries, which was exciting. Then he broke the other one, which we got the holding call, the face mask, which I never saw the face mask on that play. But he ran good. And then the play he caught out of the backfield really sparked us because that was 2nd down and 10 or 11, I believe. And a little ho-ho screen that we ran, He broke a tackle, jumped over a guy, and got us at midfield. So that was a big spark in the game. But to watch him play, he picked up a blitz extremely well. He stuck his face in there. He ran physical. He ran with good vision, like we thought. He protected the football, which was critical. He had some runs in between tackles where he had numerous players and arms on his arms, and he protected the ball. So great start for James, man. Very impressive.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Shipley. Let's do 3 final questions here for Coach Gruden. Let's go Mark, Mia, and then finish with Jordan.
Hey, Jay, back to Laviska. I'm just curious. Doug said something today about you guys are doing a lot of the things that he did in college. Is that where you got some of these play designs, or is this some of this carryover for you in the past? I don't remember a lot of guys in Washington, Cincinnati you've used kind of like that.
Yeah, we use most new a little bit in that regard, but yeah, these are plays when you scout a guy and you watch him on tape in college, you try to figure out what they're good at, and these are some of the things that he was able to do. And when you have a quarterback or a running back or a receiver, he's really all three. It puts a lot of stress on a defense, even during a week. Just having to make them prepare for that look, and those type of plays are tough on a defense, and they forget about the basic plays sometimes. So being able to move Laviska around and get him the ball in unique ways is going to be important. I mean, you saw how physical he runs between the tackles and how explosive he can be outside the tackles. It's our job to try to get him some touches, and whether it's 3, 4, 10. We don't know what that number is going to be because we have other guys who probably a little bit, didn't get as many as they wanted. But for the most part, we got to do a good job using them in different ways.
Thanks, Mark. Let's go over to Mia.
Hey, Jay, kind of going back to James a little bit. Obviously, it's a different team this week. It's a different scheme. How might his role change, do you think, going up against the Titans the Titans defensive front as opposed to the Colts defensive front this past weekend?
Well, I don't know if it'll change a whole lot. They do a couple things different in their fronts and some of their blitz patterns, but for the most part, if we want to be a successful team here, it should start with the run. And James is going to be a big part of that because everything will open up off of that. We were able to complete some naked bootlegs. We're able to do some play actions, which were very beneficial to us. So in order for those plays to work, you got to stay on track on first, second down, and the running game is critical for us. So different scheme defensively, but we have the same approach. We got to try to run the ball, establish the run, establish our physical identity for us to be successful.
And if I could ask one more, Tad, the 2 tight ends combined for only 2 catches this past weekend. How might that role change going up against the Titans? Is there maybe more opportunity for them, do you envision, this weekend?
Yeah, I hope so. That's the one position that probably didn't get as many touches as they probably wanted. But we only had 46 plays on offense, and it just didn't present itself for them to have any shots. We could have hit Tyler Eifert for the touchdown that Laviska caught, but Laviska caught it. So nobody can be upset about it. But we have some plays that will be specially designed for those guys. But if we don't get them off the script, if we're having success doing other things, then they'll have to wait for another day. But we feel good about our tight ends. Just unfortunately, they didn't get many looks.
Awesome. Thanks, Chad.
Yep.
Thanks, Mia. And let's finish up with Jordan.
Hey, Coach. What type of challenges does a Mike Vrabel defense present from a passing game standpoint that you might not have seen in week 1?
Well, I think Coach Vrabel does a great job. I think he's one of the better defensive coaches in the NFL. He does a great job when they get to third down with different looks, different people in different spots, and they can rush 4, 5, 6. Sometimes they rush 3. Sometimes they rush 2. And they do a good job of knowing your protections, eating up your back, and keeping them out, and then playing a lot of zone behind it. They can crawl up on you and play a lot of man-to-man with different ways to help the man coverage with different pluggers. It could be the safety coming down. It could be a linebacker. It could be defensive ends dropping. So they do a great job with their different coverages and different ways they get them. And then their blitz patterns I got about 1 hour sleep yesterday watching all these blitzes from last year. So very, very tough to deal with on third down. First, second down, they have some nuisance type blitzes that are tough. But he's a great coach, man, and he proved it last year going late in the playoffs and done a good job.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Jordan, and we appreciate the time, Coach Gruden. We'll see you next week, okay? Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Jay. Thanks, Ted.